I'm going to do a video real fast and show you how I installed my 5 Renogy 100-watt panels on my Cyclone CY3800 trailer. I'll go upstairs and show you how I did it. On top of the Cyclone, as you can see, I put 5 panels, and they're running in series from the first to the rear and then back, of course. See, I've got them all together. I overlapped the brackets right here and then put some lap seal on them, of course. I just figured I'd do that to keep it nice and square. You can see the wires running right here. So right there, another panel. Now, I started with 4 panels and I added the 5th panel later. That's why you'll notice a panel difference right there. But they're identical specs. And like I said, they're all Renogy panels. And we run the wires this way and then into the side of our gray water tank vent. So that's where it goes in, and I'll go inside and explain where it goes through. Now inside the Cyclone, the gray water vent runs down through this corner section right here behind the control panel. So all we did is we took the screws, more than 6 here, took all the screws off here, here, and removed those panels to the side, which exposed the gray water vent pipe. Right about here, inside the piping, I drilled a hole in it, and we fished the wiring from the solar panels down through the piping, and then took it out about here. And then I resealed with, I can't remember if I used electrical tape or whatever, but sealed it up with the wires coming out and going down. I got a nice seal around it. And then I put 2 hose clamps on the top and on the bottom of it to keep the tape from recessing or, pulling itself back. And so then obviously put the panels back on. Now I'll go behind here because I do have the panel off right now for some other service work I was doing to show you how it runs from there. Now up here in the front of the coach, you can see right there, there's the gray water vent, and that is where the wire actually is running through. Now I could have brought the wire further down to here, but it was just easier up inside behind the panel where I could actually have a standing access to it, and I got help from my wife to fish it through the small hole that I drilled, and then where I sealed it. Now it comes down right into this looming area right here, but it's actually on top of this pipe. It runs right there, as you can see, and I'm running the wires together and they come through, and it's a bundle right here. And what that bundle is, it's excess Cat 5 cable running from the service panel on the controller that's in the front of the coach. As you can see, it runs through here, comes under. I'm going to lift this panel up here, close it, and then scope under, and you can see where I run the wires. Now that green wire right there is a power wire that I ran that goes to a 3,000 watt inverter that's mounted in the front of the coach on top of the Onan generator. Real simple way to have some power for us to watch television and charge our phones and things like that. Now they run through those 3 holes right there that I drilled into the front compartment, battery compartment of the coach. As you can see, their wire loom through there, stop chafing. The green wire has its own coating. And then I deburred those holes to prevent them from chafing also. And in the past year, we've had no issues. I keep an eye on it whenever I'm in here to see if I'm showing any signs of wear, in which I have not. But this is inside the storage compartment of the Cyclone. And now we'll go up to the front and I'll show you where it comes through. Now in the front of the coach where I drilled those holes, as you can see right there, I brought them through. Now all the wires are shielded with wire loom. I could not make the holes much bigger to put a grommet, so that is why they are loomed all the way through the hole and into the storage compartment. Now those wires come in and they come down, and I'll back this off, and you'll see the 2 gray wires. Now that is an MPPT charge controller. Multi-point tracing, whatever, controller. It controls how much voltage it's sending to the batteries, and it sloughs off the rest as heat. And then, so that goes through there, those 2 wires right there. That's where the positive and negative from the panels are, as you can see. And here's the positive and negative going to the battery. Now on the positive side down, I run through a fuse right there. And on the negative side, I have it running down to the ground plate that was supplied by Heartland behind the batteries. It's the one that's attached to the body of the coach. Plenty big enough for the grounding of it. Now that runs into the battery box, of course. Now I'm running two 6-volt golf cart batteries right now is what I have for my power source. I'm going to try to upgrade later to a lithium battery, so we'll have better power. But that right there is the MPPT charge controller for the 5 panels. And as you can see, it is charging the battery and the panels are active, and that's why it's flashing. That thing stays on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Now the green cable, if anyone's curious, that runs here, I have a 3,000 watt inverter mounted on top of my own generator. And all I did was I plugged it into the front of that inverter so I can run completely separate power totally from the coach. Now that green cord, yes, technically is an extension cord, but it is shielded and the wiring is adequate for what we're doing with it. This has 4 plugs on it. We are only using one, as you can see. And this power supply, which has 2 ports right there also, but this power supply is 3,000 watts, and it also runs down from the points right through a quick connect and then down to the battery. And then we'll go back inside and I'll explain the rest of it. Now back inside the coach is the charge controller brain. This right here is Solar Epic. Available on Amazon. This is what controls or gives me access to see what the MPPT charge controller is doing. As you can see right now, I've got 102.2 volts coming from the panels, and it's kind of a cloudy day here in Utah. Going to the batteries. The batteries are currently at 14 volts, as you can see, and the panels are only supplying 0.7 amps to the battery because the battery is already full. This is your load indicator, which I don't run a load off of the charge controller. I figure why? I mean, I can turn things on and off 12 volt from it, but I haven't found a real use for it that I need. Now, the green cord that we talked about on the front actually comes right back to this plug right here. I installed these myself, cleared this panel, took out the fuse panels here to see what was behind it. Everything looks clean and clear. And I just installed a standard house outlet and wired it to the green plug. So this gives me access to run power strictly from the panels to this power, and then I don't have to have anything else involved in the coach. So it's a total isolated system. We run, most of the time we're on the television, which you can see mounted right there, and we'll run our tailgate or satellite off of this, and might charge a flashlight or whatever, and it's got 2 ports on it, obviously, so we can charge our cell phones if we needed to. I set them up here on the counter. But I found it to be a simple, easy way to use that 3,000 watt inverter that I had without having to go to the extent of tying it into the coach's existing wire. So it gives us those 3 plugs and the plug underneath of it, which I'm running that gray cord currently. That's how we watch TV while we're boondocking and doing things like that, because the rest of the coach obviously is 12 volt, so it's not really needed to run 110. Where we go camping is around 9,000 feet in elevation, so it's a nice cool day most of the time, so we don't really need the air conditioning. But if we did, obviously we could use the own generator. But yep, once again, it's a Solar Epic charge controller, trying to keep the glare off of it for you. And it traces everything down to how much power you've used. You can see how much you've used in a month, how much it's created. Shows you that you're monitoring right now. Let me see if I can go through real quick. Load set, device parameter, factory reset, meter parameters. Let me see, device info, okay. It's a Tracer 4215BN. It's rated for 24 volts. Charge current of 40 amps, discharge current of 20 amps. There's your serial number. Let's see one more thing, and there's your test. And then you can go through all your parameters. You can set your load, how much how much power you want to let it do. I apologize for the glare there, I'm not paying attention. But this is the second trailer I have installed this same exact setup in, and it has never failed me. This one's been installed for over a year now, and has just been ticking away the whole time that we've been doing it. So you can see that's how we do our small little setup. I'm sure there's much better ways to do it, probably more professional ways to do it too, of course, but it fit the needs for what we needed to do at the time. I ordered all my Renogy panels from Amazon. So I've got the Renogy panels, the MPPT charge controller, obviously the controller up here, the controller for the controller, and all the wiring and everything. I found it all on Amazon, no problem. Renogy, they ship right out of Ontario, California, so not too far from Utah. I usually get it. I have the Prime for the 2-day shipping. Total time install probably 6 hours, 6-8 hours, because I loomed all the wiring and then taking care of making sure everything was done right, not getting no shorts, not getting no problems, and it's proved reliable for the last year. We go boondocking, and it with generating that much power, we have never even gotten close to having our lights dim. These batteries, we're just now coming out of winter time, and I didn't disconnect anything on the batteries, and it kept the batteries completely charged the whole time. I would go to my storage facility and check on it. In fact, we left a couple lights on inside the trailer, so we'd have some kind of drain, and I have 3 of the Max Air fans that are set for their own temperature in the summertime, so they will open and close by themselves, trying to keep the coach cool so it doesn't get too hot in here. And then if they have any rain or whatever, those will close by themselves. Also find those on Amazon. And so I'm turning this trailer into an Amazon-sponsored technical trailer, I guess. But that's our system in our Cyclone CY3800. If you have any questions, you can leave comments below, and I'll be more than happy and try to explain anything I can. Thanks, and have a great day, and happy camping.